Peace and love, y'all. Salute to all my good people. Interesting topic that I wanted to take on today, pretty much piggybacking off of the commentary that I did the other day regarding the matter of Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. Very interesting discussion, very important, imperative point of discussion that I wanted to divulge with you guys, and definitely and most certainly an interesting set of feedback that I got, a lot of which had the position of concurring with the points of analysis that I wanted to make. But there were definitely some interesting ones, as expected. Okay, as was expected. And I believe I even mentioned it, that I was awaiting the counter narrative to kind of flood in, in response to the commentary. But real talk, you guys, I cannot help but notice in the counter narratives that were kind of rife in the comments, I couldn't help but notice how much glazing, okay, is going on right now for Tank Davis. And it's something, of course, that I'm not new to, as a boxing fan, as an enthusiast. Of course, I see it, unfold in myriad ways. But, I guess in lieu of Tank's victory last weekend, it's really bringing in and calling into light, how incessant people are being, about bypassing the reality of Tank's position and the stance that he's taking and has been taking since the publicizing of Ryan's positive test and the confirmation of his testing positive for performance-enhancing drugs. It makes me really question, in the midst of all of this, it makes me question, is there an unwritten rule about this man that I didn't get the memo on, you guys? Is there a button that I somehow missed somewhere along the line as a boxing enthusiast and, right now a boxing commentator, I guess you could say? Is there a button that I shouldn't be pressing? Did I come across a room, perhaps, on the subject of Tank Davis that should never have been entered? Is there a do not enter sign on this door in front of me that is within the house of boxing? What the fuck is going on, you guys, with this cowardliness? This tepid, timid, apprehensive position that people are taking concerning this man? All I hear are excuses regarding my previous commentary. Some of which, you guys, were so infantile that I had to block many people, because just, merely reading a sentence of some of these people's responses in their comments, just reading a couple of words, threaten my brain cell count, y'all. Real talk. This is how nonsensical a lot of the logic or lack thereof was. Okay, these people really just did have an inability to perceive. They just could not do it. Okay, just in me peering over a few words, I was threatened by losing brain cells, y'all. You really can't make this stuff up. You really cannot. Shout out to the beautiful brothers and sisters, however, who are a part of my little community here. All of my beautiful people, you know who you are. You guys, You guys are who I rock with, and anyone else who comes in, who can get the information, even if they don't necessarily agree. Because when I'm shouting out the beautiful brothers and sisters who frequent this page or not, the fact that they can have a sense of intelligence about the points at hand and are able to communicate based off of those points at hand, those are the people that I shout out. Those are the people who are coherent about the matters at hand that I want to discuss, about the points that I want to divulge. Okay, and they have an ability to speak about those things and share those things clearly. It isn't childish. It's just like, okay, this is an interesting point. Or, you know what? I didn't think about it that way. Or, you know what? Have you thought about it like this? A dialogue between adults who share a commonality within a love for boxing. That's what I salute. Okay. But real talk, outside of that, you guys, it seems to me like intelligence is not common in these boxing streets. What is going on? What is going on? What these select few out here running all types of tirades and just, an all upheaval about things that just have no place. There seems to be a surplus amount of thoughtless, willfully gullible people out here. But shout out to my real ones who are thinking and who are communicating and expressing their views, just in general here in this boxing world. Is definitely refreshing and is definitely much needed. We need more people speaking clearly about the things that we see. As I said in the previous video, we are not just people who simply buy pay-per-views or, give a like to a fighter or whatever. We are people with a perspective, and we make our judgments based on information that we see as intelligent and intelligible people. We should be discussing and hashing things out and calling things into questions and bringing things, giving things credence where it's due and all of the like. It is not, relegated to being in a particular box, of not having to be judged or spoken about or touched on just because we are boxing fans. We cannot go deeper. That is not what I do here. Okay. And if you are not a critical thinker, please take heed to this warning now before going any further on my page. If you are not a critical thinker, someone who isn't content on the surface, okay, if you are not a mind that isn't afraid of the subterranean levels of communicating and engaging, if you are not a person of intelligibility, this is not the space for you. Please find the exit now and evacuate the goddamn premises. That's just off rip. Please evacuate the goddamn premises. All right? Just because I'm talking boxing on this page, it does not mean that I will not divulge on topics that touch and reach a much broader scope of analysis, because everything works hand in hand for me and nothing is just one dimensional over here, and they tie into a lot of social points of reference, cultural points of reference, historical and the like, and I tie all of those things as best I can in one way or another within the scope of boxing, because it's all tied. We are all tied to these types of things. And so behaviors and patterns, will show up in boxers too. These people are indeed that, people. And behaviors and all types of things will be exemplified that I will examine. And if you are too sensitive or immature to get into that type of wave and on that type of time, the door is there. Kindly click on to another channel. Okay? This is not the one-dimensional show. This is real talk. This is honest perspective from a woman who is passionate about this sport, passionate also about Afro-American, Caribbean, diaspora-centered culture, and passionate about my clear expression on the matters of all types of interests. Okay? So miss me with the nonsense, please. Go click on another channel for the pandering, for the slideshow acts, and whatever myopic talk points that you find, relevant to you, because you will not get it here. Sugar-free takes no chaser. None whatsoever. Now, with that being said, I wasn't kidding yesterday, you guys, when I said that all I have been hearing are excuses for Tank Davis's behavior. That's all it's been. Excuses for his behavior, and his public condonement, most of all, of Ryan's drug cheating, you guys. It's a scandal that it seems to me that a very specific few in the boxing community would prefer to have disappear. Okay? I don't know. I guess these are gatekeepers, apparently, And by gatekeepers, it's just not relegated to, a popular sect, but I mean fans, media, sportsmen themselves, all of that, just a group of people who seem to be dead set on holding this protective stance over Tank and Ryan, and who want nothing more than for one to, bypass and negate what it is that we are seeing at work and at play. Okay? They want nothing more than for us to, just stay away from and not touch upon this sensitive issue. And it's sensitive to them. It's not motherfucking sensitive to me. It's sensitive to them. This is a sensitivity that they have. And I'm motherfucking asking, why? What is up with this sensitivity? What is up with this need to wanting to not address what it is that we are seeing at hand with Ryan's, doting, receiving this doting love and respect and admiration from Tank Davis? Off of the back of his drug cheating. This is what I'm talking about. I know a lot of you motherfucking, sensitive ass, whoever the hell you are, were so, caught up in a heave of emotion about the previous commentary and me calling out and addressing this public affection between Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. But what was really being called out, even though if it was off the back of a laugh, which is seeing these two men hugged up on each other and stuff like that, what I'm really calling attention to is the absurdity of Tank's support of this man. That is what I am calling out. That is what I am addressing. That is what is underneath the microscope for me. Okay, it seems like people could not handle my unabashed call out of these two men's publicized affection. Instead of addressing the fact that Tank is endorsing a drug cheat, people were looking to divert by saying all types of things, you guys, in my comment section. Like, oh, you're making a big deal. Or, it was no harm done. It's just two men congratulating each other, right? Nothing wrong with men embracing. What is sickening about all of these statements to me is that they bypassed the entire analysis and point of discussion completely, y'all. I don't give a damn. I could care less if these two men were face to face, at the fight this past weekend upon Tank's win. That's not the issue. The issue that is being raised is that a message is being sent to the boxing world as a whole that drug cheating is permissible. That is what that dual relationship between them publicly is saying. It's a condonement of drug cheating in this sport. The issue that is being raised and that I am continuing to raise is why Tank is standing and siding with a man who tested positive for performance enhancement drugs. That is the issue, people. I don't know what is so hard to grasp about that. What's going on? None of the people doing all of this bantering and filibustering in the comment section are not children, interestingly enough, though one would definitely think so. Okay? But unfortunately, these are not 15-year-old people. Where is the cognizance? What happened to comprehension, y'all? Is that a lost art around here? People are not able to comprehend, to decode, and handle information? So many fanboys have sought to run to my page and, type as fast as they can with their pinkies up in the air, but they have no idea as to what they are responding to. Okay? All they saw was the thumbnail and the panties got all up in a bunch. Okay? They only need to know that this is a discussion that is not in agreement with a particular aspect concerning Tank Davis, and the panties are up in a bunch. This just cannot be real, you guys. How about, answer the motherfucking question? How about that? How about approaching this discussion with intelligibility and not a hyper emotional response simply because your fighter is being analyzed? I'm a supporter of Tank Davis as well, you guys, and probably have been much longer than a lot of you alleged fans or fanboys. But that does not prevent me from looking at things as they are, from looking at what he specifically is doing. I love boxing more than I rock with Tank. I respect Tank just like I respect all of these warriors who get into the ring. But I also respect the sport of boxing, and I respect the warriors as a whole for what they do in tandem. But the sport is supreme. The sport is the foundation, and everything else gets placed after that. Okay? The reality is that he is backing a motherfucking drug cheat. Okay? And his backing of that drug cheat is a disrespect to the sport that I love. Period. I don't give a fuck about your feelings. Go cry me a goddamn river. The facts remain. None of the people trying to abate the severity of Tank's stance can give me a definitive answer as to why. Why, if he's a clean sportsman, right? Why is he, as a clean sportsman, allegedly, a fighter who also knows the risks involved and makes his own sacrifices for the sport, just like everybody else? Why would he be in support of a man who carelessly and unapologetically threatened the life of a fellow fighter? At least this is the one that we know of, because who knows if this was done previous to Devin Haney. Okay? Because as far as I'm concerned, prior to his fight with Tank Davis, he was not set up with any testing. So who knows how long this has been going on with that man, Ryan Garcia. And to the point of Ryan not previously having been set up with testing prior to Tank's fight is an interesting point. Because isn't Tank the one who accused Ryan of motherfucking cheating? That's why he was adamant about putting him in the VADA program for their test last April. Okay? A man who he accused in the past of being a fucking drug cheat. This is the man who he's backing and publicly doting upon. The same man who he called a drug cheat and insisted upon having testing set up for him for their fight last April. I don't want to hear it, you guys. None of you bitches can make that math start mathing for me on that issue. None of you. Full of excuses, but the math ain't goddamn mathing. Could it be that you, as a so-called boxing fan, don't yourself care about the sport? That's probably what is at hand here, that you don't give a damn about this sport. You just like riding the wave of the it boy, right? Get your soft ass motherfucking asses out of here with that shit. I don't want to hear it. Anybody walking around with that mindset should really give classes on how to ride. Riding lessons, okay? Go on and give classes on how to ride effectively, how to ride efficiently, and with the hips, okay? It's all in the hips looking ass. Get the fuck out of here, please. There is nothing wrong, mind you, with being a fan of any fighter. I don't care who is your favorite. That is up to you, okay? What is the incessant and prevailing issue is that because many of these people with this mindset are a fan of a particular boxer, they somehow abandon their percepts, their ability to engage with information contrary to their obsession with a particular person that they like. It's insane. Tank Davis is on some bullshit with his stance right now, period. He will not get an ounce of a pass from me just because he's a good goddamn fighter. Just because he had a spectacular win last weekend, he will not get a pass from me. What the hell does that have to do with him supporting foul play? Absolutely nothing. The immaturity level of these people, it really is bizarre to me. People want to gatekeep for behavior that threatens the safety and integrity of the entire sport for the sake of liking one fighter. If that's the case, y'all, I want Tank's next fight to be untested. Okay? I want everybody that he faces, every opponent, actually that him and Ryan face. I want all the opponents to be roided up until they can't see straight. I want them to fight opponents who are so roided up that they can't breathe. Okay? Every opponent from now on until the end of their careers, that's how I want it to be. And whatever happens, happens. And should they lose or suffer damage from that opponent who is roided up to their necks, I don't want to hear a motherfucking peep from any so-called fan of those people about a thing. Not a peep. Not a peep. I want to see people enjoying their popcorn. I want to see people chugging their beers and only talking about pay-per-view numbers while Tank and Ryan are taking blows in the ring from somebody who is juiced up to their gills, and while their families are passing out in the bleachers watching the devastation that's being caused to them. I don't want to hear a single outcry from the boxing world. I want it silent like midnight. Absolutely silent. Okay? I also don't want to see another black boxer be made the poster boy for popping dirty. Okay? With the grace and the pardon and newfound stardom that Ryan received for popping dirty, I want to see everybody benefit now. How about that? I don't want to see a news headline. I don't want to see a goddamn tweet, a motherfucking article about shit. I don't want to see it from here on out. Okay? Because, yeah, if we're going to go, let's go all the way. Let's go all the way with it. I'm on that type of time. I don't want to see no more Big Baby Millers, no more Conor Benns, none of it. Let's go for the gusto. How about that? And I definitely don't want to see Tank enrolling any other fighter he faces, of course, in any type of anti-doping testing. Why? Why should we do that? Why should we? When we could instead hug up on these doping motherfuckers when we see them. Let's just hug up on them the way you did. Let's take them in our arms and shower them with our love and respect for cheating. Okay? Oh no, Tanky Tank. No more testing for your opponents. Off you go into the wild. Right? Nice and raw. Pause. No need for parameters at all. Right? How about that? I think that would be interesting. Anyway, that's it for me, y'all. Y'all think on that. I'm on to the next. Peace.